Swadikap. Good morning. Television Pool Thailand welcomes you to the live telecast of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony on the 100th day of Sattamawan in dedication to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, at Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall in the Grand Palace. Today, Sunday, the 1st of February 2026, the event will take place at 10 a.m. Thai time. Your narrator is Captain Dr. Yungyut Mayalab, and you can listen to this live telecast narrated in English if your television set has a dual language system or via the website prd.prd.go.th and Facebook NBT World. The Thai word Sattamawan is a royal religious term used in Thai Buddhist and court contexts, especially in royal funeral rites. Meaning of it is the 100-day memorial observance following a death. In Thai Buddhist and royal funeral traditions, Sattamawan refers to the merit-making ceremony held on the 100th day after death, during which merit is dedicated to the deceased. It is one of the major memorial milestones alongside Sattamawan 7 days, Panra Samawan 15 days, Panya Samawan 50 days, and today Sattamawan 100 days. The ceremony serves to dedicate accumulated merit to the deceased, express gratitude and remembrance, provide spiritual support for the deceased onward journey, and offer a structured period of reflection and emotional healing for those who remain. So the merit-making ceremony on the 100th day holds deep religious and cultural significance in Thai Buddhist royal tradition. In royal tradition, these merit-making rites are conducted with solemn formality. The Sattamawan ceremony signifies the continuity of royal benevolence and gratitude as members of the royal family, senior monks and officials participate in chanting, and the people offering alms to monks. It represents a communal act of remembrance, a reaffirmation of reverence, mourning, and dedication to the virtuous life of the departed monarch or royal personage. Yesterday we witnessed the first part of the royal merit-making ceremony taking place in the evening around 5 p.m. Thai time. Now today is the second day of the event. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen, accompanied by members of the royal family, will be departing by royal motor car from Amphorn Sathan Residential Hall, Dusit Palace to Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall to conduct the royal merit-making ceremony. And this is the interior of the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall. This is where the royal urn of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is being placed. This is at the western portico where the royal urn is enshrined. The Great Golden Royal Urn or Prakot Thong Yai was constructed on 3 occasions during the reigns of His Majesty King Praputhayot Pha Chulalok the Great or Rama I, His Majesty King Chulalongkorn or King Rama V, and His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great or King Rama IX. The royal urn is adorned in full regalia, and you can also see on the right-hand corner of the picture here the shrine for the Buddha image, according to the day of birth of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, being enshrined under the 9-tiered Great White Umbrella of State, with the royal seats of Their Majesties the King and Queen further to the left. At the very top of this royal urn stands the Phum Phượng, the uppermost finial ornament of the urn. Below is the Chan Krachang Tia, and the lid of the urn is decorated with diamond floral motifs called Dok Mai Wai. Around the rim of the urn hang diamond tassels, while the waist of the urn is adorned with diamond flowers known as Dok Mai Eo. Here's the design of the royal crematorium. The construction of the Royal Crematorium for the late Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is scheduled to begin in February and is expected to be completed in October 2026. Prime Minister and Minister of Interior Anutin Chandragul on the 26th of January 2026 gave a briefing at the Government House on the construction of the Royal Crematorium and supplementary structures for the Royal Cremation of Her Majesty the Queen Mother. The Prime Minister said that the Fine Arts Department under the Ministry of Culture had been assigned to design and construct the Royal Crematorium and other components to be used in the Royal Cremation ceremony. The assignments also include the renovation of royal chariots and palanquins and the designs of the sandalwood royal coffin, the sandalwood royal urn, and krung sangket, the merit-making items. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment had recently presented fragrant sandalwood to the Office of Traditional Arts for use to create the sandalwood royal coffin and the sandalwood royal urn. His Majesty the King has also granted royal approval for the construction of the Royal Crematorium in accordance with the design presented by the government. The Prime Minister stated that the government intends to arrange the Royal Cremation ceremony with the highest honors accorded to Her Majesty the Queen Mother, and it had invited Her Royal Highness Princess Maha to serve as an advisor on the organization of the ceremony. Referred to as Pramerumat or Golden Crematorium, the Royal Crematorium is where the royal urn is placed on the pyre for the royal cremation. It will be built at Sanam Luang Ceremony Ground in Bangkok. Traditionally, it was built as a temporary construction in the middle of the city for cremating a deceased king or queen or high-ranking royals. The Royal Crematorium and other components for the Royal Cremation ceremony will be built as temporary structures. After the ceremony, these structures will be taken down. So you can see here the overview of the construction of the Royal Crematorium and associated ceremonial structures, which are now underway, as announced by the Prime Minister. The Fine Arts Department under the Ministry of Culture is responsible for the design and construction of the crematorium, royal chariots, royal urns, sandalwood coffins, and other ceremonial items. And all plans have received royal approval. So the design aligns with ancient royal traditions and reflects artistic refinement, symbolizing Her late Majesty's lifelong devotion to the Thai people. It will feature a crown spire topped with a 9-tiered white umbrella, denoting the highest level of royal status. The architecture incorporates elements representing Her late Majesty's grace, her role as the mother of the land, and her dedication to preserving Thai culture and arts. The surrounding landscape will follow the concept of the cosmic universe, adorned with mythical creatures and figures from the Ramakien or Ramayana epic. So construction is scheduled to conclude by October. Their Majesties the King and Queen has now arrived at the gate of the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall beside the Rajakaranya Sabha Pavilion. the guard of honor presents a royal salute, and the Royal Thai Army bands plays the royal anthem. The military band is arranged by the Royal Thai Army Band Department. Uniforms are worn in accordance with the unit of the Honor Guard, 1st Cavalry Battalion, 1st Cavalry Regiment, King's Guards. The Honor Guard formation for His Majesty the King is arranged from the 1st Cavalry Battalion, the 1st Cavalry Regiment, King's Guards. Their Majesties will soon ascend the Crescent Porch of Piman Rataya Throne Hall to proceed into Dusit Prasat Throne Hall, passing members of the royal family in attendance to the site of the royal urn. So you can see here the military band arranged by the Royal Thai Army Band Department. We have the Honor Guard formation for His Majesty the King, arranged from the 1st Cavalry Battalion, 1st Cavalry Regiment, King's Guards. The Honor Guard formation for the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, arranged from the 2nd Infantry Battalion, 2nd Infantry Regiment, King's Guards. So in the area surrounding the royal urn, soldiers assigned to stand guard, a total of 4 units, is stationed as honor guards for the royal remains, drawn from the Royal Guards Command. His Majesty the King lights the incense and candles of the royal offering set of gold with Rajavadi enamel, and also lights the incense and candles of the small golden offering set of Krung Thong Noi before the royal urn and pays homage. Her Majesty the Queen lights the incense and candles of the secondary royal offering set of gold with enamel, and also lights the incense and candles of the small golden offering set before the royal urn and pays homage. His Majesty the King approaches the shrine of the Buddha image according to the day of birth of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, while Her Majesty the Queen remains standing before the royal chair. His Majesty the King has lighted the incense candles of the double-tiered golden offering tray in veneration of the Buddha image of Her Majesty the Queen Mother's birthday before the royal attire, the royal altar under the 9-tiered white umbrella, and pays homage. Buddha images commemorating Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, were created in honor of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. And these are differing in material, scale, and purpose. The principal image for enshrinement is known as
Rakanathaya Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Silani Yajama Thutiyampi Mayang Phante Visung Rakanathaya Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Silani Yajama Tatiyampi Mayang Phante Visung Rakanathaya Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Silani Yajama.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang งสรณังคัจฉามิทุติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิทุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิทุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอาทินนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิโมสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยมัจจปมาทฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอิมานิปัญจสิกขาปทานิสีเลนะสุขติยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพุติยันติตัตมาสีนังวิโสภะเนนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชชาจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิทูอนุตตโรปุริสธรรมสารติสัตตาเทวมนุษย์สานังพุทโธภควาติสวากาโตภควตาธัมโมสันติติโกนะกาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปันญิโกปัจจัตตังเวทิตาภววินโยนิติสุปฏิปันโนสาวกสังโฆอุชุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาญาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโต สังโฆยติทางจัตริปุริสยุคานิอาตปุริสปุคคลาเอสัพพะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุนายโยปาหุนายโยทักขินายโยอัญชลียกรณีโยอนุตตรังปุญญาเกตังโลกัสสะติภาหุงสหัสสมปินิมิตสาวุธันตังครีเมกาลังอุติตะโครัสเสนามารังทานาติธรรมวิธินาจิตวามุนินโทตันเตชะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานิมาราติเรกมปิโยจิตตสาปรติโกรัมบนาลวะกรรมกรรมทัตตยากะกันติสุทันตวิธินาจิตวามุนินโทอันเตจะสะภวตุเตชยมังคลานินาลาคิริกัจจวาระอติมาตตพุตังทาวากิจักกมสนิวสุทารณะตังเมตตามปุเสกวิธินาจิตวามุนินโทจะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานิโอคิตกากมติอัตตสุทารุนันตังทาวันติโยชนะปตังกุลิมาลวันตังอิทธิภิสังกตมโนจิตวามุนินโทตันเตจะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานิกัตวานากาตมุตระอิวากาปินิยาจินจายทุตถวจนังจนากายมัชเชสันเตนะโสมวิธินาจิตวามุนินโทตันเตชะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานิสัจจังวิหายมติสัจจกวาดเกตุงวานปิโรปิตมนังอติอานะภูตังปัญญาปฏิปัจจลิโตจิตวามุนินโทตันเตจะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานินันโทปนะตะปุจกังวิปุตตะมหิทิงปุตเตนะเทระปุจเกนะธรรมาปยันโตอิทุปเทสวิธินาจิตวามุนินโทตันเตจะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานิทุกขาทิฏฐิบุจเกนะสุตตะตหาทังพระมังวิสุทธิจุติมิติปกาปิทานังญาณากเทนะวิธินาจิตวามุนินโทตันเตจะสาภวตุเตชยมังคลานิเอตาปิพุทธชยมังทคากายโยวาจโนทินะทิเนสรเตมตันติหิตวานเนกวิวิธานิจุปัตถวา ขังอธิกมยยานโรสัพพัญโยมหาการุณิโกนาโตอิตายะสัพพปานินังภูเรตวาปรมิยสัพพปัตโตสัมโพธิมุตตมังเอเตนะสัจจวัคเกจยมังคละจยันโตโพธิยมุเรสักยานังนันติวัตโนเอวังตวันวิจโยโหหิจยาสุชยมังกาเลนะปราชิตปันลังเกสีเสปัตวิโปกันอภิเสเกสัพพพุทธานังอาคาปะโตตติสุนาคาตังสุมังคลังสุปาปาตังสุโมโหโตจะสุยิทังพระมจาริสุปทักขินังกายกังมังวาจากัมมังปัทาขินังมโนกรรมังปณิทิเตปัทาขินาปัทาขินานิกัตตวานาลปันตาเตปัทาขิเนภวตุสัพพมังคลังราการโนสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานัสสทาโสทิภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราการตุปเทวตาสัพพธรรมานัสสทาโสทิภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังกันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนัสสทาโสทิภวันตุเต
The first is to pay respect to the Lord Buddha, the homage to the Blessed One, the Three Refuge, and undertaking the 5 precepts. And upon completion, 30 monks that chanted the Buddhist protective verses of Paritta the previous day presented blessing. His Majesty the King proceeds to make the offerings of food contained in tiffin carriers to His Holiness the Supreme Patriarch, honorific monks at the level of Sumde Parachakana and Parachakana, until all 10 sanghas have been presented with the offerings. So this contains the offering of food that the monks can take back to their residences to be consumed later on before lunchtime. As for this congregation of 30 monks who chanted the Paritta verses yesterday, each being led by His Holiness the Supreme Patriarch, who is the abbot of Rajavapit Satit Mahasimaram Temple. Other members include Somdet Pratirayan Muni from Tepsarintravat Temple, Somdet Praputtajan from Drimit Vidyaram Temple, Somdet Pramahatirajan from Prachetupon Vimon Mankalaram Temple, Somdet Pramahavirawong from Rajabapit Satit Mahasimaram Temple, Somdet Pramaha Rachamongkon Muni from Drimit Vidyaram Temple, Somdet Pramaha Vachira Mankalajan from Kapang Surin Temple in Trang Province, พระพรหมดิลก from สามพระยา Temple พระพรหมโมลี from ปากน้ำ Temple and พระพรหมสิทธิ from สะเกษ Temple. His Majesty the King has now taken his royal seat. Another group of 20 monks will now receive the offerings of food contained within the tiffin carriers. His Majesty the King graciously designates members of the royal family, royal cousins, members of the Privy Council, and high-ranking officials to present the offerings. Then the officials withdraw the tiffin carriers and proceed to lay the auspicious long robe of cloth known as the พระภูษายง The royal ceremonial officers have carried the toy, which is the device used to support the พระภูษายง or the connecting cloth extending from the front area of the Suwan Benjadon throne. This พระภูษายง is drawn from the base of the royal urn and passes over the Gan ornament in the front and then descends onto the Pan พระมหากฐิน or the royal offering tray. The term Pan พระมหากฐิน comes from the traditional custom in which this tray was originally used for placing the monastic robes. In this royal cremation ceremony, the tray is used to hold the long-folded cloth known as พระภูษายง At this moment, the ceremonial officers are gradually unfolding the พระภูษายง and placing it upon the support, which is being placed at intervals, which serves as the support for the cloth in order to connect its ends with another พระภูษายง placed upon the พานพระมหากฐิน at the monk seats. For the พานพระมหากฐิน located at the monk's platform, the ceremonial officers will first spread a white cloth as a base covering on the monk seats and then lay out the พระภูษายง to the full length of the platform where the monks are seated. Finally, the officers will join together the ends of the two พระภูษายง cloth. พระภูษายง is considered as an auspicious item of royal religious ceremonies. This long gold embroidered cloth connected to the royal urn serves as a symbolic link between His Majesty the King's offering, merit making, by offering the saffron robes to the monks, and to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is a gesture of disseminating merit to the deceased monarch by physical indirect connection. As can be seen in cases of ordinary Buddhist funeral ceremonies, where merit made by their families by offering saffron robes to monks.
อุปจิตวานิรุตชันติเตสังอุปสมโมสุโข
His Majesty the King has offered the saffron robes to the monks, to the 10 monks, and the monks chanted สดับปกรณ์
ริวหาปุราปริปุเรติสาภรังเอวเมวะอิโตทินังเตตานังอุปกัปปติอิจิตังปัตติตังตุมหังคิปะเมวะสมิจตุสัพเพปุเรนตุสังกปาจันโทปนรโสยถามณิโชติรโสยถาสัพพิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวัตวันตรายโยสุขิติกายุโกภวสัพพิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโค ปิกิโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวัตวันตายโยสุขีทีขายุโกภวะอภิวาทนาสิริสนิจังวุฒาปัจจายโนจัตตารโอมาวัฏันติอายุวันโนสุขังปาลังอัฏฐาสิเมอาคาสิเมยาติมิตาสกาจะเมเปตานังทักขินังทัจจาโลเปกตมนุสรังไดรุนังวันโสโกวายาวันยาปริเทวนานาตังเปตังนมัตถายะเอวังติทันติยาตโยอายัญจะโกทักขินาทินนาสังฆามิสุปฏิทิตาทิคารตังอิตายาสัทธานาโสอุปกาปฏิโสยาติธรรมโมจะอายังนิทัสสิโตเปตานะปุจาจะกตาปุราลาภลังจะภิกขุนะมโนปทินนังตุเมหิปุญญังปัสสุตังอนาปกันติ
อดิเรกวัตตตังชีวโตอดิเรกวัตตตังชีวโตอดิเรกวัตตตังชีวโตอีกายโกโตอโรโกโตอีกายโกโตอโรโกโตสุขิโตโตตระเมนมหาราชาสัพพะมราชินีทิฏฐิกิจจังทิฏฐิกัมมังทิฏฐิราโภติโยนิจังพระเมนมหาราชวรัสสะปรมณิยาจหะภวตุสัพพทาขอถวายพระพร
ภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนัสสทธาโสทิภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพธรรมานุภาเวนัสสทธาโสทิภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนัสสทธาโสทิภวันตุเต ขอถวายพระพรเจริญพระราชสริสวัสดิ์พิพัฒนมงคล พระชนมสุขทุกประการ จงมีแด่สมเด็จบรมบพิตรพระราชสมภารเจ้าทั้งสองพระองค์ ผู้ทรงพระคุณอันประเสริฐ เวลานี้สมควรแล้วอาตมภาพทั้งปวง ขอถวายพระพรลาแด่สมเด็จบรมบพิตรพระราชสมภารเจ้าทั้งสองพระองค์ ผู้ทรงพระคุณอันประเสริฐ ขอถวายพระพร
ทนาถวายอดี
by His Majesty the King of the saffron robes to the 10 monks. His Majesty the King takes his royal seat, and the monks then chanted Sadapakon verse. This refers to a royal memorial chanting ceremony conducted exclusively for the highest members of the monarchy. The monks recite passages from the 7 treatises of the Abhidhamma, the profound Buddhist teachings on the nature of mind, consciousness, and ultimate truth. And this chanting accompanies a series of ritual offerings. Incense and candles are lit, symbolic water of dedication is poured, and ceremonial robes are humbly presented to the Sangha, the community of monks. Each gesture represents deep reverence, compassion, and the aspiration of spiritual purity on behalf of the royal personage being honored. Then His Majesty King and Her Majesty the Queen pour lustre water or taksinotok as a dedication of merit. This is a moment of profound meaning, a moment where devotion becomes visible through a single graceful act, the pouring of lustre water. The ceremonial water, meticulously blessed by the Sangha, represents the collective merit of an entire nation. As their majesties pour the water gently into the ceremonial vessel, it symbolizes the dedication of pure and boundless merit to the revered royal personage who has passed on. Every droplet carries a message of love and remembrance. Every ripple signifies a prayer for peace, liberation, and a noble transcendence beyond the impermanence of earthly life. The deceased, the participating monks then chanted Anumotana and benedictions consisting of 6 chants, the water pouring blessing, Sapi So Atalato verse, the Adirek or Adivasana blessing for their majesties, Sappa Mungkon Katha, ending with the benediction of farewell. And upon completion, the monks depart from the throne hall. Officials will now be inviting the next group of 10 monks to take their seats on the monastic platform. So there will be further 2 rounds of the 10 monks per group who will be invited for this part of the ceremony. His Majesty the King will then proceed to offer saffron robes to the monks, and they will respond again by the chanting of Sadapakon verse. So the process will be repeated for the 2 groups of monks. His Holiness the Supreme Patriarch has now just departed from the ground of the Dusit Maha Prasat throne hall. Let me just go into a little bit further details on the pouring of water as a gesture of disseminating the merit made to the deceased. It is often carried out in all merit-making events, both auspicious ones and not auspicious ones, such as funeral ceremony, in order to disseminate the merit that one has carried out for the benefits of the deceased. The water used for this ritual needs to be pure and clean, without any contaminant. The practice in general for various merit-making activities tends to use special receptacles for this purpose. However, should an appropriate receptacle not be available, one can use a glass or a small bowl. The receptacle must be prepared and ready for use in advance. The gesture is often carried out after having presented offerings of Krung Tayatam, or the items of 4 necessities for monks' daily living, to monks, with the monk who is the head of the congregation of monks starts to chant the blessing with the word Yatha. The host or chairperson of the ceremony will begin to pour the water to produce a flow down into the receptacle. If the person who pours the water sits on the floor, he should sit on his hip with his legs forward behind and under his bottom. He should hold a small water container with both hands and pour the water from it so that a downward flow of waterfall is produced. The second group of 10 monks are now on the monastic platform. Soon His Majesty the King will make the offering of the saffron robes to the monks. The officials are now making preparation for the Prapusayong placement. You can see that Prapusayong is being supported at intervals so that this auspicious item does not come into contact with the ground and also not coming into direct contact with the surface of the monastic platform by being supported with the long white piece of cloth that you can see just on the surface of the platform with the Prapusayong, the gold-colored long piece of cloth being sprayed on top. His Majesty the King is now making presentation of the saffron robes to the monks. And you can see the interior of the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall with พระพุทธรูปประจำพระชนมวาล or the Buddha image commissioned by the king or members of the royal family to commemorate their significant occasions such as birthday, anniversary. This is being enshrined towards the right upper corner of the picture.
O ปัจฉิตวานิรุชันติเตสังอุปสโมสุโข
This part of the ceremony reflects a union of royal duty and spiritual devotion. It is a moment when the royal household alongside the nation pauses in solemn contemplation. Together they offer merits, express gratitude for the exemplary life of service, and pray for the peaceful, noble journey of the royal spirit. So Sadapakorn is not merely a ritual. It is an expression of love, continuity, and the enduring bond between the Thai people, the monarchy, and the Dharma. A tribute that is profoundly ceremonial, yet deeply human. So this is in accordance with the royal traditions of Thailand. When a member of the royal family passes away, a special and highly revered Buddhist ceremony is performed. This rite is known as Sadapakorn. I mentioned about the Buddha image. According to the day of birth of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, this is enshrined under the 90th Great White Umbrella of State. The creation of Buddha images for the birthday anniversary has a long history since the Ratanakosin era, beginning during the reign of King Nangklao of Rama III, who graciously commissioned the Buddha images for the birthday anniversary in dedication to his royal father and his royal grandfather, signifying his profound royal faith towards his royal ancestors. So this is the next group of honorific monks taking their seats on the monastic platform. His Majesty the King will soon make the gracious offering of saffron robes to this group of monks. As for the Buddha images commemorating Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, 2 distinct Buddha images were created in honor of Her Majesty, both designated as พระพุทธรูปประจำพระชนมวาล or Buddha image of the birthday, but differing in material, scale and purpose. There's one of 9 inch in height, excluding the base, made of 96% pure silver. This is the commemorative silver image for the 5th cycle birthday of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, who poured the casting metal on the 25th of June 1992, on the auspicious occasion of her 5th cycle birthday. Created as a commemorative and presentation piece to mark the 5th cycle celebration on the 12th of August 1992. The small image mirrors the design of the principal bronze Buddha and serves as a devotional keepsake, symbolizing blessings, purity, and longevity. His Majesty the King is now presenting the offering of saffron robes to the 3rd group of 10 monks. These are the group of venerable monks who chanted Paritta yesterday evening during the first day of the royal merit-making ceremony on the occasion of the 100th day following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. So this will be completing the merit-making in the part of the congregation of 30 monks who participated in the royal merit-making ceremony since yesterday.
อนิจจวัตสังขาราอุปาทวยธรรมิโนอุปาจิตวานิรุจฉันติเตสังอุปสโมสุโข
This last group of the 30 monks will now be departing from the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall. Officials will now invite 11 monks from a total of 93 monks participating in today's ceremony. The total number of 93 of the monks who are about to ascend to the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall and take their monastic seats is equivalent to the age of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. They will chant the Bhattika verse for the deceased, and again the officials will also lay the Prapu Sayong for each round of the saffron robe offerings. And you can see here the royal urns, the great golden royal urn of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. Surrounding the Pratan Suwan Benjadon, the golden base pedestal are placed the regalia corresponding to the royal dignity, with one royal page of the Royal Guards of Honor standing on duty at each corner. The 90th Great White Umbrella of State on Nopapadon Mahasawitachat that you can see above the royal urn in the picture here was originally covered with patat or traditional cloth, but during the reign of King Rama IV, His Majesty graciously commanded the cloth to be changed to white fabric with 3 frills, tiers trimmed with gold leaf, while and adorned with golden jampa pendants. The umbrella is topped with a pointed spire in the form of a stupa. It is set up above the royal throne in accordance with royal tradition and is regarded as the most important of royal regalia. As recorded in the royal coronation ceremony, when His Majesty receives the anointment water at the Tatit upon throne, the royal Brahmin priest presents the 9-tier great white umbrella of state in humble tribute. Then royal officials carried it in procession to the Patrabit throne hall, where His Majesty receives the royal regalia, royal decorations of the highest honors, and royal utensils signifying the full sovereign kingship. The 9-tier great white umbrella of state is also erected in other significant locations, including above the royal bed in the Chakrapat Piman throne hall, above the royal throne in Paisan Taksin throne hall, the Amarin Vinishai throne hall, the Chakri Maha Prasat throne hall, here in the Dusit Maha Prasat throne hall, and the Ananta Samakom throne hall. When the king passes away, officials erect the 9-tier great white umbrella of state above the royal urn throughout the period in which the royal remains are enshrined. When the royal cremation is performed, the 9-tiered great white umbrella of state is erected above the royal cremation pyre throughout the cremation ceremony, and officials respectfully gathered and enshrined the royal ashes for one night. To bestow the highest honor and express filial reverence towards Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, His Majesty the King presented the royal 9-tier umbrella to be placed over the royal symbolic urn, in accordance with her royal title as Queen Mother, and in recognition for her many years as Queen and Mother to a nation. She became the first female member of the royal family or court to be presented with the royal 9-tiered umbrella, which is normally reserved only for fully crowned kings of Thailand. In the area surrounding the royal urn, soldiers assigned to stand guard, a total of 4 units, will be stationed as honor guards for the royal remains drawn from the royal guards of command. Regarding the attire, it shall be in accordance with prescribed regulations, which consists of 2 types of uniform, namely the royal ceremonial uniform and the full dress uniform of the royal guards command. The full dress uniform is used in royal ceremonies involving the merit-making rites for the royal remains, including the 7-day, 15-day, 50-day, and 100-day observances. The tradition of arranging honor guards for the royal remains or the establishment of military honor guards forms part of Thailand's royal customs and military ceremonial practices that have been observed for a long time. The purpose is to render the highest honor and reverence to the royal remains. The arrangement of honor guards for the royal remains is a royal tradition that's been continuously practiced. Units of the royal guards, together with other units of the Royal Thai Armed Forces, are assigned the duty of providing security and rendering the highest ceremonial honors. The honor guards will stand vigil beside the royal remains throughout the entire period during which the royal remains are enshrined at Dusit Maha Prasat throne hall.
ตาธรรมาสัมมาตนิยตาธรรมาอนิยตาธรรมาภาคามนาธรรมาภาคเหตุปาธรรมาภาคาธิปติโนธรรมาอุปานาธรรมาอนุปานาธรรมาอุปาทิโนธรรมาอติตาธรรมาอนาคตาธรรมาปัจจุบันนาธรรมาอดีตลัมมนาธรรมาอนาคตาธรรมนาธรรมาปัจจุบันนาธรรมนาธรรมาอาจาตาธรรมาปหิทธาธรรมาอาจาตปหิทธาธรรมาอาจาตาลัมมนาธรรมาปหิทธาลัมมนาธรรมาอาจาตปหิทธาลัมมนาธรรมาสนิทัสสนะสัพพติฆาธรรมาอนิทัสสนะสัพพติฆาธรรมาอนิทัสสนะปฏิฆาธรรมาเหตุปัจจโยอารัมมณปัจจโยอธิปติปัจจโยสัมมันตระปัจจโยสมัจจตปัจจโยสมัจจตปัจจโยนิสยปัจจโยนิสยปัจจโยปุเรตาตปัจจโยปุเรตาตปัจจโยปัจจาตปัจจโยมาเสวนาปัจจโยกรรมปัจจโยวิภากปัจจโยอาหารปัจจโยอินทรียปัจจโยฌานปัจจโยมรรคปัจจโยสัมปยุตตปัจจโยวิปยุตตปัจจโยปัตติปัจจโยนาติปัจจโยวิคตปัจจโยอวิคตปัจจโย
บทของพระอภิธรรม7คัมภีร์ที่เรียกว่าสัตตปกรณะ
Officials are now making preparation for the Prapusayong placement. His Majesty the King is now presenting saffron robes to this first group of 11 monks from the 93 monks participating in this latter part of the ceremony. The tradition of having monks equal in number to the age of the deceased, chant prayers at a funeral or memorial, has roots in ancient Buddhist merit-making and Thai royal monastic tradition. This stems from the Theravada Buddhist custom interwoven with Thai court and temple traditions. It reflects the principle of merit transference, patithanamai, that is performing acts of merit and dedicating them to the departed. Each monk symbolizes one completed year in the life of the deceased. Thus, the total number of monks represents the fullness of the life lived. This gesture expresses both gratitude or katanyu and a wish for continued blessing and peaceful transition. The monks just chanted the Sadapakorn on the receipt of the saffron robes, offering from His Majesty the King.
Yatha varikvaha pura paripurinti sakharang evameva ito thinnang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipameva samithetu saphe purintu sankapa janto panaraso yatha manicho tiraso yatha
saphe tiyo
พโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวัตวันตรายโยสุขีติพายุภวะอภิวาทนาสีลิสเนจังวุฒาปัจจายโนจัตตารโอธรรมาวันตันติอายุวันโนสุขังอาทาสิเมอาคาสิเมยาติมิตาสนาจะเมเพทานังทากิลังทาจันตุเพกตมโนสรังนหิรุณนังวาโสโภวายาวัญญาปริเทวนานาตังเปทานมัตถายะเอวังอิทันติยาตโยอายัญจะโคทังกินาทินาสังฆัมมิสุปฏิทิตาทิครันตังอิตายาสถานโสอุปกัปปติโสยาตินังโนจะยังมิทัสสิโตเพทานภูจาจะกตังลาอรัญจะภิกขุนมโนปฏิญญาตุเมหิปุญญังปสุทังอนัปปกันติอติเรกวัสสตังชีวตุอติเรกวัสสตังชีวตุอติเรกวัสสตังชีวตุทีขายุโกโหตุอโรโคโหตุทีขายุโกโหตุอโรโคโหตุสุขิโตโหตุปรเมนตมหาราชาสัรปรมราชินีสิทธิกิจยังสิทธิกัมมังสิทธิลาโภชโยนิจังปรเมนทมหาราชวรสะปรมราชินียาสหภวตุสัพพทานขอถวายพระพรภวตุสัพพมังคลังรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนัสธาโสทิของวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพธรรมานุภาเวนัสธาโสทิภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนัสธาโสทิภวันตุเตขอถวายพระพรเจริญพระราชสิริสวัสดิ์พิพัฒนมงคลพระชนมสุขทุกประการจงมีแด่สมเด็จพระราชสมภารเจ้าทั้งสองพระองค์ผู้ทรงพระคุณอันประเสริฐเวลานี้สมควรแล้วอัตมาภาพทั้งปวงขอถวายพระพรลาแด่สมเด็จพระบรมพระราชสมภารเจ้าทั้งสองพระองค์ผู้ทรงพระคุณอันประเสริฐขอถวายพระพร
Presentation of saffron robes by His Majesty the King to the first group of 11 monks out of 93 monks participating in this ceremony in the latter half of this morning. The monks chanted the Sadapakon verse, and then His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen poured lustre water as mark of benediction. The monks then chant blessings and royal benedictions, and upon completion, the monks will now depart from the throne hall. In the court officials, we invite another 2 rounds of 11 monks to the monastic platform. During the royal funeral ceremonies, apart from the recitation of the Holy Scriptures, the chanting of Buddhist blessing, the preaching of a sermon, there's also this traditional religious ritual, the chanting of prayers for the deceased as a response to the offering of saffron robes to the monks. The merit made from such offerings to the monks is dedicated to the deceased, and the monks will chant in recognition of the merit made and to disseminate it to the deceased. In traditional Thai religious custom, during a funeral ceremony, pa bang sukun or bang sukun cloth is offered to monks for use as the monk's gown. Bang sukun means a piece of cloth that is contaminated by dust. According to the legend, during the time of the Lord Buddha, cloth was a very difficult item to find and was also very costly. Monks and novices used to collect pieces of old cloth that had no owners and were left in rubbish piles, or pieces of cloth that wrap around corpses in cemeteries. Once enough had been collected, these would be sewn into saffron robes to be worn by monks and novices. Relatives of monks might also specifically present cloth and blankets to some monks, or might present the robes to a group of monks so that they might share these between them. These presented robes were called pa bang sukun or bang sukun cloth. The religious tradition later developed that when a person passed away, relatives of the deceased popularly presented robes to monks and novices as a merit-making gesture for the deceased. These robes are still being called pa bang sukun, and nowadays has taken the form of saffron robes. The next group of monks has now taken their seats on the monastic platform. Altogether, there are 93 monks taking part in this latter half of the morning's ceremony. They are, for example, Phra Phrom Muni from Prasat Maha Temple, Phra Phrom Vachirakorn from Raja Patikaram Temple, Phra Phrom Vachiranuvat from Bapit Pimuk Temple, Phra Phrom Vachira Methachan from Trai Thamaram Temple in Surat Thani province in the south of Thailand, Phra Phrom Vachirodom from Moli Lokayaram Temple, Phra Phrom Pacharayan Muni from the Ban Rai Thosi monastic residence in Nakhon Ratchasima province, Phra Phrom Vacharathi Rajan from Pak Nam Temple, Phra Phrom Vachirathorn from Thewarat Kunchon Temple, Phra Tham Panyaporn from Maha Temple in Ratchaburi province, to name but a few. His Majesty King has presented the saffron robes to this next group of 11 monks, the second group, and soon that monk will then chant Sadapakorn. You're watching the live telecast of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony on the occasion of the 100th day following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. The event is being held here at Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall within the ground of the Grand Palace in Bangkok. Yesterday, there was the sermon delivered on the occasion of the performance of the Royal Meritorious Act of Taksidanupatan on the completion of the 100-day observance in honor of the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. The sermon was delivered by Phra Phrom Senabadi Phim Yanaviro, member of the Supreme Sangha Council and abbot of Patum Kongkha Rachawaravihan Temple. The sermon explains the meaning and spiritual significance of Taksana Nupatan, the meritorious act of dedicating merit to the deceased, particularly in the context of royal funeral rites and the 100-day observance. Rooted in Buddhist teachings, the practice reflects gratitude, or katantu kataweti, which the Buddha described as the foundation of virtuous persons. The sermon emphasizes that Thai royal merit-making traditions observed at intervals such as 7, 15, 50, and 100 days are not merely ceremonial customs. They embody a profound moral and cultural purpose, sustaining the bonds between the living and the deceased, expressing gratitude, honoring virtue, and fostering emotional healing among those who remain. Central to the sermon is the teaching on giving, or dana, or tan, which forms the basis of human relationships. Two forms of giving are explained: amisatan, or amisadana, material giving, the offering of food, shelter, medicine, and material support, which helps create initial bonds of care and mutual respect within society. And secondly, dhammadana, or dhammatan, the giving of dhamma, the sharing of wisdom, moral guidance, compassion, forgiveness, justice, loving kindness, encouragement, and mindfulness, which nourishes the mind and leads to lasting inner transformation. While both forms of giving are valuable, the sermon affirms the Buddha's teaching that the giving of Dhamma is supreme, as it endures beyond material change and guides recipients towards wisdom and moral growth. The sermon further explains that acts of giving generate enduring bonds of beneficence, kinship, friendship, and companionship. These bonds do not end with death, but persist in the moral consciousness of those who practice Dhamma. Through merit-making, especially Taksina Nupatan, the living fulfill their duty to the deceased according to their capacity and circumstances. Finally, the sermon concludes by dedicating the accumulated merit of the royal 100-day observance to Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, with the aspiration that such merit may support her in attaining a favorable spiritual realm, while also strengthening mindfulness, compassion, and moral responsibility among the living. And that's what the chanting of the Sadapakon by the next group of the 11 monks. The next group of monks will be invited by the court officials to take their seats on the monastic platform in a moment. Let me recount the sermon that was delivered yesterday by the honorific monk, พระพรหมเสนาบดีพิมยานวีโร member of the Supreme Sangha Council. This is what he said: I shall humbly receive the royal command to deliver the Dharma sermon entitled Taksina Nupatan Katha in commemoration of His Majesty's boundless royal grace and in adornment of His supreme wisdom and perfection. If in humbly offering this exposition, any part should fail to accord with the proper rhetorical expression or doctrinal explanation of the Dharma sermon in any passage whatsoever, I beseech under the royal authority, the compassion, benevolence, and forbearance of His Majesty to graciously grant forgiveness to this monk of limited wisdom. May I humbly offer my respectful blessings. At this time, in accordance with the teaching of the Supreme Buddha, who declared Bhumive Sappa Purisanam Katanyu Katavetita, which means the gratitude is the foundation of good people. The royal ceremony of performing meritorious deeds on the 100th day observance of the Thai royal family has been strictly upheld and continuously observed in accordance with ancient royal tradition, which is rooted in the concept of the divine kingship. It serves as an expression of loyalty, profound gratitude for royal benevolence, and the highest veneration of honor toward the king or members of the royal family who have passed into the heavenly realm at Mount Meru, which symbolizes the celestial domain in the Tribhumi cosmology. This represents the continuation of core traditions that intricately and profoundly integrate the principles of Buddhism with Thai culture. The merit-making ceremonies conducted at the intervals of 7 days, 15 days, 50 days, and 100 days are not merely religious traditions passed down through generations. They are also cultural practices that reflect the relationship between the living and the deceased. Moreover, they serve as expressions of gratitude, remembrance, and belief in the power of merit, which is believed to support the departed spirit in attaining a favorable realm of existence. His Majesty the King graciously designated Her Majesty the Queen to present the saffron robes to this next group of 10 honorific monks. During yesterday, delivering of the sermon by Prabhu Senabadi, he said that these periods following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, provide an opportunity for emotional healing for those who remain, allowing them gradually to accept and come to terms with loss. Thus, the traditions of performing meritorious deeds at various intervals constitute a synthesis of moral principles, beliefs, and spiritual values of Thai Buddhists, forming a cultural foundation that has long coexisted with Thai society. He said that Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, carried out numerous royal duties, both in her capacity as Queen of Thailand and as the royal consort of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great, the late King. That is to say, she greatly assisted in alleviating His Majesty's royal burdens and moreover initiated numerous royal projects to assist the people and develop the nation in countless ways. These royal projects have continued to bring immense benefit to the people to this day. The performance of the Royal Meritorious Act of Taksidanupatan, stated briefly, is merit-making itself. However, it is a special form of merit-making undertaken in reference to death, or merit-making dedicated to the deceased. The performance of merit for the deceased is regarded as a duty that those who remain alive must fulfill according to their status, opportunity, and capacity. This is because human beings who are born into the world are inevitably interconnected, interrelated, and bound by bonds with one another. This can be seen in the relationships between husband and wife, parents and children, teachers and students, relatives and relatives, friends and friends, and so forth. When one party passes away, these bonds do not disappear, nor are they severed, or are they severed, or halted in any way. Those bonds remain present eternally. If one were to ask where they remain, the answer is immediate, in conscience, that is, in the mind, imbued with Dharma. Only a person whose mind is endowed with Dharma can preserve these bonds and relationships. If a person's mind is not imbued with Dharma, those bonds are immediately severed and come to an end, and death is treated as final. For this reason, customs and traditions have been established as guiding principles for future generations to observe and uphold, namely the merit-making observances as 7 days Satamawan, 15 days Panra Samawan, 50 days Panya Samawan, and 100 days Satamawan, and annual death anniversaries. All of these serve to remind those who are still living not to forget the deceased, but to remember them perpetually in accordance with the bonds that exist between them.
นิจจาวัฏสังขาราอุปาลวยธรรมิโนอุปนิกวานิรุตสันติเตสังอุปสโมสุโข
Following the presentation of saffron robes by Her Majesty the Queen, graciously designated by His Majesty the King, the congregation of 10 monks chanted the Sadapakorn verse. The court official will now bring the next group of participating monks out of the 93 taking part in the ceremony in this latter half of the morning. During the sermon yesterday, the monk has also mentioned about the bonds that I mentioned earlier. Regarding these bonds, the Supreme Buddha proclaimed in the Tiro Guntasut, which has been granted as the thematic passage for this Dharma sermon, as follows: Athasi me, Agasi me, Yati mitta, Sakha jame, Petanang, Tukinang, Tacha Bupe, Kata Manusaranuti. This means that when men and women recall and reflect upon the virtues and good deeds that the deceased once bestowed upon them, such as this person once gave this to me, this person once did this for me, this person was my relative, this person was my friend, this person was my companion, they then increase meritorious deeds that bring prosperity and happiness, dedicating them to the departed beings. According to the meaning of the Tiro Guntasut, this clearly indicates that human relationships consist of 5 bonds. The first is the bond of giving, the second is the bond of action, the third is the bond of kinship, the fourth is the bond of friendship, and the fifth is the bond of companionship. Among these bonds, if they are to be summarized concisely, there are only 2, the bond of giving and the bond of receiving. Giving in this context is of 2 kinds: material giving, or amisatan, amisadana, and the giving of dharma, or tamatan, or dharma dana. Amisatan refers to the giving of material objects such as food, clothing, shelter, and medicine, including all things that enable the recipient to consume or use them. The giving of material objects is regarded as an initial means of connecting hearts, enabling people to develop love, respect, and esteem for one another. The giver demonstrates generosity, while the recipient deeply appreciates that generosity. Thus, heart is connected to heart. Giving and receiving are therefore considered to be of the utmost importance to humankind. Her Majesty the Queen has just offered the 7 robes to the next group of 10 monks, who will now soon chant the Sadapakon verses. พระพรหมเสนาบดี during his sermon yesterday talked of the human beings who are able to live together as groups, communities, assemblies, and societies in happiness and harmony precisely because of the virtue of giving and receiving. If giving and receiving are absent, love and respect cannot arise. Or if they do arise, they cannot be complete. This is because people then become overly filled with selfishness and self-interest. They possess but do not give. They receive but do not share. And if they do share, they expect something in return and are unwilling to give freely. They merely wait to receive alone, as expressed in the saying that the thought of giving is light, but the thought of taking is heavy. By contrast, he said that those who strive to train themselves in giving and self-sacrifice, who are able to eliminate miscellaneous and stinginess, take delight in distributing and sharing according to their means, abilities, and opportunities, according to the principles that to have is to give, to gain is to distribute, to bear is to bring ease, to die is to live, to give is to receive. To receive is to give. Thus, giving and receiving are regarded as the creation of bonds and relationships that help to connect hearts and minds with one another. The principle that to have is to give, to gain is to distribute, refers to a person who performs acts of public benefit. When such a person possesses wealth or possessions, they possess them in order to give, not solely for themselves. Whatever they acquire, they are mindful of others, taking joy in sharing and distributing without miscellaneous or hoarding. They are content, not merely when they gain, nor displeased when they lose. Rather, they find satisfaction in giving and are never satiated in their willingness to distribute. The more they have, the more they give. The more they gain, the more they distribute, guided by the maxim, whatever you give to others is considered as given to yourself. Or give to others and they will give in return. Honor others and they will honor you. Love others and they will cherish your love. These 3 principles, it is said, are excluded only by the wicked. Her Royal Highness Princess Maha has been graciously designated by His Majesty the King to offer 7 robes to this next set of 10 monks. Prabhupada Senabadi, while delivering the sermon yesterday, mentioned that giving is therefore likened to a seepage well. However much water is drawn or scooped out, water continues to seep in without ever drying up. The principle of to bear is to bring ease refers to a person devoted to public benefit, who is neither misery with resources or stingy with effort. Such a person willingly accepts the burdens of others, bearing heavy and exhausting responsibilities without complaint, always ready to shoulder such burdens with self-sacrifice, voluntary commitment, and responsibility. They regard work as life itself, and life as work, because they desire orderliness and peace for the future. This may be compared to parents who willingly bear heavy and light burdens alike for the sake of those behind them, namely their children. Sadapakon verses being chanted by this group of honorific monks following the presentation of saffron robes by Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Sirinthorn. Prabhupada Senapati in his sermon mentioned about the principle of to die is to live, referring to those who devote themselves to the common good by sacrificing their own lesser personal interest for greater collective benefit. Examples include heroes and heroines. Those who can act in this way are extraordinary persons, willing even to sacrifice their lives so that those who remain behind may live in comfort. They are willing to endure hardship, suffering, and even death in the hope of future happiness. All of these qualities together are called self-sacrifice. And it is self-sacrifice alone that gives rise to the principles of to have is to give, to gain is to distribute, to bear is to bring ease, to die is to live. Tamathan or Dhamma Dana, on the other hand, refers to the giving of Dhamma. The term Dhamma here means that which is virtuous and beneficial. Goodness that nurtures thought and the mind, enabling the recipient to gain knowledge, mindfulness, and wisdom, to acquire the eye of wisdom, and to perceive the light that guides one along the corrected path of life. Examples include imparting knowledge, giving advice and instruction, offering guidance or opportunities for admonition, and repeatedly instructing others to become virtuous persons. Forgiveness is the act of not holding resentment or anger towards those who have committed wrongdoing or harbored ill intent, but instead granting pardon, becoming a person without enmity or hostility towards anyone. The giving of justice means placing oneself impartially, without bias or prejudice, being firm and principled, upright and consistent, not speaking one way while acting another, not holding double standards, not favoring one's own group while rejecting others, not wavering like a post planted in mud. The giving of love and warmth means making oneself a person of loving kindness and compassion. Loving kindness is love, goodwill, and benevolence, the sincere wish for others' well-being, expressed through generosity, mutual support, cooperation, and assistance. In Thai, this is called Nam Chai Maitri, meaning love arising from heartfelt generosity without reliance on any form of return. Just as water is essential to nature, enabling trees and plants to bear leaves, provide shade, blossom, bear fruit, and sustain life, and without water they wither and perish. So too is the human heart. When there is Namchai Maitri, love and warmth arise. When generosity dries up, it is like a tree deprived of water. Thus water in wells or canals is still secondary to generosity of heart. No water can surpass the value of heartfelt generosity. His Majesty the King graciously designates Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Sirinthorn to present saffron robes to this next set of honorific monks as a merit-making for Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother.
อนิจจาวัตสังขาราอุปายยธรรมิโนอุปัจจิตวานิโรชันติเตสังอุปสมโมสุโข
Prabhupada Senabadi, during his sermon yesterday, said that Thai Buddhists are able to live together in communities because of loving kindness and goodwill towards one another. Loving kindness is the virtue that sustains the world. The giving of mindfulness is the act of reminding others to be mindful when they err, suffer harm, or follow an incorrect or improper path. It includes comforting those who grieve or suffer from loss and separation, expressing empathy towards those who encounter calamity, offering encouragement when others do good, when they feel discouraged or hopeless, and helping them to begin life anew in a way that leads to righteousness, goodness, and fulfillment. These two forms of giving differ in their fruits, yet both serve as means of connecting hearts and creating bonds between people. Their difference lies in the fact that amisadana, or amisathan, the giving of material objects, is impermanent and does not endure. It changes easily according to time and conditions. It is also easier to give than dharma, and its benefits are directed primarily towards the body. Dhammadana or Dhammathan, the giving of Dhamma, is more stable and enduring, penetrating deeply into the mind of the recipient. It enables the recipient to gain wisdom, knowledge, encouragement, mindfulness, and inner warmth, to perceive the path of progress and advancement, and to be guided towards the attainment of virtue from the lower levels to the highest levels. Thus, the Supreme Buddha declared, of these two kinds of giving, the giving of Dhamma is supreme. Moreover, the bond of giving is regarded as the bond of beneficence, that is, the bond of support, assistance, aid, and compassionate help. For there is no person born in this world who has never rendered beneficence to others, and likewise there is no person who has never received beneficence from others. Stated briefly, there are those who give beneficence and those who receive beneficence, supporting one another in succession. When the bond of beneficence arises, the bonds of receiving beneficence, namely the bond of kinship, the bond of friendship, and the bond of companionship, naturally arise in turn. When this is so, relationships in various capacities that had not yet arisen do arise. Those that had not existed come into being, and those that already exist flourish, grow firm, and increase manifold. For this reason, the performance of the meritorious act of Taksina-nupathan is a form of merit-making that is complete, with both amisadana or amisathan, the giving of material objects, and the dhammadana or dhammathan, the giving of dhamma. It accords with the characteristics of the three bases of meritorious action, namely giving or dana or than, the observance of moral conduct, or sila or seen, and mental cultivation, or bhavana or bhavana. Thus, giving is performed, moral discipline is maintained, and meditation is cultivated, accumulating and storing a mass of merit and wholesome deeds. The merit and wholesome deeds that one has accumulated and cultivated personally are regarded as merit. Her Royal Highness Princess Maha graciously designated by His Majesty the King, has presented the 7 robes to these set of honorific monks, who will be chanting these Sadapagon verses in response. 'Yesterday, towards the end of the sermon delivered by พระพรหมเสนาบดี he mentioned Amina Katapunyena by the power of the royal meritorious deeds of the 100-day observance graciously performed by their majesties, the supreme royal patrons. May this merit be accomplished as a powerful treasure of merit and dedicated to Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. May it be fulfilled in accordance with the royal wish in every respect. So that's the sermon titled Taksinanup Pratan Katha, delivered on the occasion of the performance of the royal meritorious act of Taksinanupatan on the completion of the 100-day observance in honor of the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, by พระพรหมเสนาบดี Pim Yanaviro, member of the Supreme Sangha Council and abbot of the Patum Kongka Rajawaravihan Temple. The presentation of the merit making and the presentation of saffron robe for the 93 honorific monks have now come to the end. The court officials have now folded up the Prapusayong back into its receptacle. We now come to the final part of the ceremony. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen are now proceeding towards the center part of the Dusit Maha Prasat throne hall. His Majesty the King proceeds to the front of the table of offerings in front of the royal platform underneath the 9-tiered great white umbrella of state and pays homage to the Buddha image according to the day of birth of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. Their Majesties the King and Queen have now proceeded to the front of the royal urn. They have paid homage to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. His Majesty the King is now passing by ranks of officials in attendance and proceeds to light the incense and candles of the mother of pearl offering trays before the altars, where the royal funeral monks chant the Abhidhamma on both the eastern and western sides of the northern portico of Dusit Maha Prasat throne hall and pays homage. As for the monks who will be chanting the Abhidhamma scriptures for today from 7:30 to 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. for the first platform will be monks who come from Prayun Wongsawat temple, and for the second platform these are monks from another temple. The chanting of the Abhidhamma scriptures will be conducted at regular intervals. As for the monks of the second platform, they come from Chakravat Rajawat Temple, and they'll be conducting the chanting between 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. as well. So we are coming to the end of the royal merit making ceremony for today. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen are now in conversation with Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Sirinthorn and Her Royal Highness Princess Julaporn. In attendance today during the ceremony this morning preparations are underway for the departure of Their Majesties the King and Queen, accompanied by Her Royal Highness Princess Siriwanri Narirat Rajaganya and His Royal Highness Prince Tipankon Rasami Chod Maha Wachirot Tamangkun Suriwipun Rajakuman. And just a moment ago, we saw Their Majesties the King and Queen having conversation with Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Sirinthorn and Her Royal Highness Princess Julaporn, กรมพระศรีสว่างควัตร Their Majesties the King and Queen are now leaving the compound of the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall. And in the area of the Grand Palace, the honor guard formation for His Majesty the King is arranged from the 1st Cavalry Battalion, the 1st Cavalry Regiment, King's Guards. The military band is arranged by the Royal Thai Army Band Department, and uniforms are worn in accordance with the unit of the honor guard, 1st Cavalry Battalion, 1st Cavalry Regiment, King's Guards. In the area outside the Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall, the honor guard unit standing in attendance to receive the arrival of Their Majesties the King and Queen. This unit is a military formation established to perform duties in important ceremonies such as receiving Their Majesties, royal processions, welcoming distinguished guests, providing honor guards to receive high-ranking foreign guests, among other duties. The principal duty of the honor guard unit is to render the highest honor, perform ceremonial duties in royal rites, and participate in ceremonies related to royal traditions. The Royal Guard Mahatlek Honor Guard, or the Royal Guards Regiment of King's Guard Rajawalok Guards, is a Royal Guard military unit entrusted with important duties of providing royal protection, rendering royal honors, and performing ceremonial functions in royal rites. The unit operates under the Royal Security Command, and it is distinguished by its unique uniform. So you have been watching the live telecast of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony, the second day On the 100th day, in dedication to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, at Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall in the Grand Palace, Sunday, the 1st of February, 2026. Satamawan is the word for this event, a royal religious term used in Thai Buddhist and court contexts, especially in royal funeral rites, meaning the 100-day memorial observance following a death. In the Thai Buddhist and royal funeral traditions, Satamawan refers to the merit-making ceremony held on the 100th day after death, during which merit is dedicated to the deceased. It is one of the major memorial milestones alongside the Satamawan 7 days, Panrasamawan 15 days, Panyasamawan 50 days, and today Satamawan 100 days. The Satamawan ceremony serves to dedicate accumulated merit to the deceased, express gratitude and remembrance, provide spiritual support for the deceased's onward journey, and offer a structured period of reflection and emotional healing for those who remain. So the typical features of a Satamawan ceremony comprise royal or formal chanting of a Bidama, Dhamma sermon, often titled or as a Natakatha, Prathamatesana, the offering of robes and alms, and also dedication of merit or Taksina Nupatan. The merit-making ceremony on the 100th day holds a deep religious and cultural significance in Thai Buddhist royal tradition. It marks a key stage in the karmic dedication process. After a person's passing, merit is made at intervals, typically on the 3rd, the 7th, the 15th, the 50th, and the 100th days, and on the anniversary, to dedicate the spiritual benefit of Bundutit to the deceased, aiding their rebirth in a favorable realm. In royal tradition, these merit-making rites are conducted with solemn formality. The Satamawan ceremony signifies the continuity of royal benevolence and gratitude as members of the royal family, senior monks, and officials participate in chanting and offering alms to monks. It represents a communal act of remembrance, a reaffirmation of reverence, mourning, and dedication to the virtuous life of the departed monarch or royal personage. So for the general public, they'll be allowed to pay homage to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, this afternoon from 1 p.m. to the evening time. Up to about 9 p.m. By royal permission, members of You've been watching the live telecast of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony on the 100th day in dedication to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, at Dusit Maha Prasat Throne Hall in the Grand Palace, presided over by Their Majesties the King and Queen. Your narrator is Captain Dr. Yongyut Mayalab. Thank you very much for watching this live telecast. And from Bangkok, Thailand, goodbye. สวัสดีครับ
หมอเรียบร้อยหมอรอนะตาแล้ว